What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Balin from Hard Money Bankers, and this is my co-host, Ian Horowitz from Equity Warehouse. What's going on today, Ian?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm excited to have Abhi Golhar on the show today. Definitely have known Abhi here for a minute, so really excited about that. You might know Abhi for anything kind of related to real estate or software or tech, maybe from some Think Realty conferences. He's the dude that's like just all over the place, right? Kind of everywhere you everywhere you go in this space, you're going to run into him one way or the other. So we're real fortunate enough to have Abhi spend some time with us today. So let's cue up this music real quick, the theme music, and we'll introduce Abhi when we come right back.
Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast with your hosts, Jason Balin and Ian Horowitz.
Okay, we are back. Let me bring up Abhi real quick. We'll do some quick intros, and we're going to have some fun. Abhi, what's
Hey guys,
up, buddy?
what's up, man? How are you?
Great. How about yourself?
Dude, it's been a minute. I'm glad to be here. I love the music. I'm sitting here like, got the little wave going. Like, when do I get to go back to Ibiza? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Dude,
I'm in. When we going?
Totally down tomorrow. Let's make it happen.
Dude,
oh, man.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast, Abhi.
Hey, thank you so much.
Why don't we start off with just a quick intro, a little bit about yourself for all the listeners or viewers.
You got it. Guys, my name is Abhi Golhar. I host a podcast called Think Realty Podcast. It used to be a radio show. Now it's a video podcast, trying to be as cool as these guys here. I'm a huge business builder. I love investing in real estate. I love lending my money. So, dude, Ian and Jason, shout out to you guys for putting on the baddest, the bestest, just mastermind ever in the hard money lending space. So you guys rock. If you haven't subscribed, you're not part of that mastermind, definitely join. Like, you are making a big mistake if you don't. A lot of my background, man, has been tech. Like I said, I love investing in real estate, but I use any distributions I get from a business to invest passively in real estate. I used to do flips and things like that, but you know what? Frankly, dude, I'm 5'5" and 135 pounds wet. I know what a sledgehammer looks like. I'm damn sure not going to pick one up. Like, it's a sledgehammer. Let's be honest, it's like roughly around 12 pounds. I can barely do like 5-pound dumbbell curls. I'm the best white collar worker there is. So when it comes to scaling your business, I don't care if it's a lending business, I don't care if it's a healthcare business, an IT, whatever business it is, utilizing technology, software, people, process, that's my specialty. I love acquisitions. And there's so much opportunity in this space right now, especially for lenders. It's incredible. But maybe another topic for another day. I started building my brand from nothing, like zero, absolutely nothing. And I've always wanted to understand what platforms mean to me and how I could build influence using platforms such as LinkedIn, such as Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And over the years, I've found my groove and I've found out what works and what doesn't work. And so today, we'll be talking about a very special platform that I think you guys should be paying attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the funny thing, and it's no surprise when we talk about YouTube, obviously, like that was in the title, that streaming through the screen. So we the cat's out of the bag on that. But, the funny thing about YouTube is if you've been in real estate long enough, or if you've been on, doing marketing long enough, YouTube, it feels like it's been around forever, but it really hasn't. I remember when my partner Chris and I started Hard Money Bankers in 2007, like that's kind of right when YouTube kind of came out, and we had some old ass cameras that we started creating videos with. His brother actually worked with us at the time, and we're like, we need to get on YouTube. And, thousands of videos later, you go back to early videos on YouTube and they're all crappy, right? This was pre-iPhone, right? So like you had whatever kind of crappy camera you had. Most people didn't have good audio. They didn't know, but you just start it, right? You start with some videos and then you work and you transition to some ridiculous YouTube videos that are out there today. So I think we should gear this conversation towards real estate investors that are trying to target sellers, buy properties from sellers, maybe wholesalers that are trying to sell their properties, and maybe even raising private capital from private lenders. I think that's probably the best, what sums up our audience right here. So let's just kind of maybe dig into, I don't know, what do you, I know in the back of your mind, you kind of have some thoughts of what direction we should go in with this topic.
Yeah, for sure. If you're a real estate professional, there are a lot of ways to skin this cat. There are a lot of folks that will say, upload as many videos as you can to YouTube without letting it rest. And these videos should be 2 minutes long and just create a bunch of YouTube shorts. Others will say, well, no, you really have to create 3 videos a week and each have to be 8 to 12 minutes long. What I want to do, and I'll bring up my slides here in a second, but what I want to do is get through maybe 5 minutes of just what you need to pay attention to when you're creating content, because there are a lot of folks that don't know how to create content properly, right? Like that's a major problem. I think that's first and foremost. Like what the hell is the problem? What is the solution? And what do I need to do about it? Then I want to dig into YouTube specifically. What you need to do, how do you go find the keywords, how do you create the video, and use some of the examples that have worked for me. And we'll even do some YouTube searches and identify opportunities in, say, Columbus, Ohio, because why not? Maybe Detroit, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, and kind of play around a bit. And you guys can share some thoughts. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. So you want me to, how to share your screen?
Yeah, you got it.
I
just need to
listen because this is all the stuff I always tell Jay. I'm like, oh, dude, it sounds so good. Like I want to do more stuff. Without this, I couldn't do any. But I'm the worst marketer in the world, so I'm super. So
you got it.
I'm just gonna be sitting here listening.
Awesome. No, that sounds great. I'm almost there. Give me just a second.
Jason makes it so tricky. You should see us on Zoom. It's tenfold worse.
You know what? I believe it. I absolutely believe it. All right. What are you guys seeing? Do you see my full screen here?
Yeah, I can add it.
There we go. Yep.
Hey. All right. Perfect. Sounds good. All right. So I like talking about building your influencer brand because I started from nothing, right? I started from scratch, and like Jason said earlier, I'm everywhere. I have an entire content team. I have a specific content team for LinkedIn. I have a specific content team for my blog, and I have a specific content team for my YouTube strategy. I want to get through a couple things though. Number one, there's a lot of noise in this space, as you can tell. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat. If you're still using Snap, I guess. TikTok, and I'm sure there are others that I don't even know about. Plus, that's the external noise, right? Plus the internal noise and the story that you're telling yourself of, oh shit, I don't know if I can make this happen because it's me. And as a result of that, selling today, whether you're selling to find investors, whether you're selling your deals, whatever it is that you are trying to get in front of, selling's become a lot harder. 61% of salespeople say that, hey, it's become hard the last 5 years. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's noisy. So what's the problem? Now, what's the solution? So that's the problem, right? The solution is we got to think like a media company and execute. Now, I ripped this from Gary Vaynerchuk, but one thing that he did not really say is you got to execute as a result. Even though he talks about it to execution, I'm a huge believer in that piece. Business has a crisis though. What is it? We're using the wrong ideas. We're using something that's so wrong. Like we'll say, hey, put a Ferrari on a YouTube channel and let that be my credibility. That's so fake. It's not genuine at all. So when you're considering YouTube, when you're considering video, it's totally cool to be yourself. You don't have to be like the Abhi Golhar Real Estate Deal Talk radio show days where I was totally pretending to be somebody else. And Jason, you remember those days because you were on the Real Estate Deal Talk show. I remember, and you're like, dude, this guy's so full of shit. Like this guy. So that's the problem. And what creators ultimately do, even in blog posts, okay, even in blog posts, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, they'll just talk about me, and more of me, and how good I look with 2 buttons undone in a nicely, beautifully pressed white button down and a Darth Vader mask. I don't know what I was doing. I don't even remember this night, but what I remember is I was looking good doing it. And that's a major challenge. because ultimately the equation for trust is broken. One of my really good friends, Charlie Green, co-authored a book called The Trusted Advisor. Highly recommend that you get it. Go to Amazon.com right now. If you're watching this, pause this video, get your ass to Amazon.com, buy this book. Trust is a very simple equation. Credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by self-orientation. Now, as we know from high school math, or maybe not high school math, I guess in my case, I have brown parents. So when I was in kindergarten, you learned that you guys are laughing, but you know it's true.
I'll laugh. Jason might not, but I'll definitely laugh.
There you go. It's all good. If the numerator is higher than the denominator, then the ratio is bigger, right? If I'm paying all the attention to myself, though, and if I'm only talking about myself, and I'm self-oriented in this conversation or in creating this video, what happens to my trust level? I'm not really establishing credibility, not reliability. I'm not learning about you. I'm not being intimate with you, the viewer. So my credibility, my trust decreases. So the only reason that social media exists is for you to create as much trust with your prospects or current clients and customers to bring them back into your offline funnel to close them. It's that simple. UGC is a huge, huge deal, user-generated content. If you have a client, if you have a customer, if you have an investor that can speak on your behalf saying, dude, Jason and Ian are ballers and you need to make sure you connect with their mastermind group like I just did, you will get more people to buy into whatever it is that you're selling. Because ultimately happy customers are the best marketing tools. One of the things that you can also do if you don't know how to create content or you just don't really know, like I didn't want to play the keyword game. I don't want to go and spend the time, share stories. What Jason and Ian are doing right now and providing value in partnering with me on this video is to create an environment of immense value to you, the viewer. So if you can find other people locally and you can share their stories, and again, talk about you maybe 2% of the time and 98% of the time you're sharing their story, you win the game. One of the stories that I love sharing that I won't get into a whole lot of detail today, but it's a story of when I didn't believe in myself. I was a student in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I was going back and forth between Ann Arbor and Detroit, where I had a lot of flips going on. There was one evening where my contractor calls me and says, dude, you got to go to your property. Like, what's up? Like, I'm sitting here with my Motorola V600 flip phone. Like, dude, what's up? What's going on? He's like, I can't talk right now. I got to go pick up my kids. I'm like, all right, fine. You're a great contractor. Lesson number one, get somebody that communicates effectively, right? So I jump in my Honda Civic DX. It's like this 1992 POS car. It's seriously a Flintstone car. As I leave Ann Arbor, it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. By the time I get to downtown Detroit, inner city downtown Detroit, it's a blizzard. I pull into my driveway, run over my mailbox, open the front door, and I hear running water. I'm like, oh shit, that's a problem. Right, this is like a lender's nightmare. Look at Jason, yeah, they're like, no, I can't. I don't know what's going on. Now I need to know. I look all around the house and I'm like, oh, wait, that's what the shop vac is for, to scoop up all the water. Got it. Okay. What I didn't realize was I go down to the basement and I'm neck deep in water and I'm alone. Remember, I'm like 5'5", 130 pounds, right? Like, who am I to sit here, like, knock on doors at almost 10:30 at night in inner city Detroit? I'm going to get shot. So here I am using the shop vac, trying to move as much water out of the house. Nothing works. So I do what I know how to do, that every wholesaling book teaches you, right? It's like, go knock on doors. So here I am knocking on doors at 10:30 at night, wondering what the hell is going to happen. Either I'm going to live through the night or I'm not, but I'm going to die trying. And luckily enough, there's a neighbor that helped me out. We toiled until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the water level just wasn't decreasing. I didn't know back then what I know now. I would have checked the source of the water before trying to address the actual problem. So I slept there that night on the second floor of the home because I just upstairs, because you learn in middle school, maybe elementary school, that heat rises, and that's the warmest part of the house. And yeah, that was not a fun night. I went to the local convenience store, package store, and got a bottle of Jack Daniels. So he and I had a nice conversation. Woke up the next morning, went to class. The next morning, though, I vowed to myself this would never happen again. And this was the song "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey that was playing on the car ride back to Ann Arbor. And I love sharing that story because I couldn't be where I am today without that experience, without meeting Jason, playing hacky sack, without leading to the multiple conversations, the relationships that we've built to this moment in time. I don't regret doing one thing. And if you're watching this, you're listening, you're thinking, well, shit, I've made a lot of mistakes. That's okay. And when you're going on this journey of YouTube, you're going to make some more. That type of story, you can there's a very specific beginning, middle, and end of that story. That story you can cut up into different pieces and make that an experience for a viewer on YouTube, whether you're looking for sellers, for buyers, or even for investors. A couple of rules that I want you to follow: don't buy followers. Just don't. There are a couple of drivers of marketing success. Number one is customer experience. If your customer experience as a private lender sucks, if your process sucks, if you're not efficient in using Google Docs and Google Sheets, then learn how to be efficient in using Google Docs and Google Sheets, or get some type of CRM, because your customer experience will absolutely kill you. That also goes for creating content on YouTube. Rule number two, engage thoughtfully. Don't be this person. Like, this isn't even English. This is somebody from, some third world country that's trying. I don't even know what this is. This is bullshit. Don't do that. Instead, do something like this, right? Where be thoughtful in an Instagram post. One of my wife's cousins posted this, and he and I had no idea that he wanted to invest some money. And now, because of thoughtful engagement, we're doing some deals together. Rule number three, follow in the steps of Ian and Jason. Create a community, and not just any community. Create a really strong community of people that have a couple of things to talk about, and keep it to those topics. Don't talk about e-com and private lending. Like, don't do that. And by way of creating a community, now you can sell through your customers instead of selling to your customers. You remember like the charcoal toothpaste? Like, I love charcoal toothpaste until I realized, like, wait a minute, it's probably not the healthiest for me. And then I learned that. I'm like, oh crap. All those videos on YouTube and all those videos on Instagram I did about telling other people to use charcoal toothpaste, that's the definition of selling through your customers. You want to have an eyes wide shut strategy, right? No, you want to have an eyes wide open strategy. You becoming an influencer means one thing: you're going to get the best strategies right now. So I wanted to get through that a little bit and talk about Twitter. Who uses Twitter? That's right, you don't use Twitter. Let's talk about YouTube. Guys, feel free to grill me on YouTube, because we're going to fly through these slides, and then I'm going to give you some live examples. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Cool.
Yeah, and listen, if anyone has any questions along the way, we've got Abhi here for a while, so for the next half hour. So let's take them up on that. Let's grill them for anything that we need on YouTube. YouTube is a changing thing. We already talked about earlier on how, like, we got on it 10, 13 years ago, and every time you log into any of these platforms, it's very different. So it's important to kind of be on the cutting edge of what's going on. You got it.
So let's say you're doing, you want to talk about Detroit real estate, right? One of the things that YouTube already does, it's predictive search. You guys are familiar with this. You already know this. Google does it. Amazon does it. YouTube does it. Facebook does it. Everybody does it. The reason that predictive search is a good place to start when you're trying to find what topics to talk about is because the YouTube algorithm here is telling you, hey, people that start with the word Detroit, then type in real, they're thinking about Detroit real estate investing, Detroit reality TV, Detroit real estate investing 2019 as an example. I just did the search yesterday. So why people are looking for Detroit real estate 2019, I don't really know. But this is a way that you can start to initially create topics to talk about. Let's go to my old stomping grounds, Ann Arbor. If I type in Ann Arbor real estate, what YouTube does is it populates the most relevant videos, first, second, third, and fourth, based on my search string, based on keyword that I'm searching for. So if I search Ann Arbor real estate, this is what shows up. Ann Arbor real estate market, August 2019. This was posted a year ago. Yeah, this was posted a year ago. The City of Ann Arbor video tour, Living in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Real Estate 1. That was posted 8 years ago. The next one was posted 8 months ago, and the one after that, Ann Arbor Realtor Live, was posted 12 months ago. What does this tell me? What do you think this tells me? This tells me that there's no recent content on YouTube that has the keyword Ann Arbor real estate. So now if you're putting your influencer hat on and you're like, well, what if I want to raise capital? How does that work? You can do real estate market updates in Ann Arbor, draw people to your landing page on Unbounce, for example, and then sell them on this idea that, hey, if you want to capitalize on the real estate market, one of the strategies you should deploy is private lending. You're starting to kind of connect the dots. Let's do another example. Columbus, Ohio real estate market. If you do the search on YouTube, you'll find your search results might be a little mixed, but there'll be something like this. The first result you'll see is Columbus, Ohio real estate market 2020. The second you'll see is Columbus real estate market trends and statistics 2019. The third and the fourth. Notice the timeline. Number one was 6 months ago. The second video was posted a year ago. The third video was posted 2 weeks ago. And neither one of these I would click on because the thumbnails suck. Like, the thumbnail strategy sucks. But even so, the YouTube algorithm is saying this is the most relevant video 1, 2, and 3. Now, you can't tell me that you can't make a better thumbnail and a better video than these people. Like, look at her face. Like, there's nothing inspiring about what she's looking at. Like, I think she's, like, in the first thumbnail, I think she's trying to look at the word coronavirus or something. But, like, that's not an inspiring face. Like, it's the facial expression is what you're looking for. But here's what's interesting. If you use a tool called TubeBuddy, it tells you whether or not a keyword is strong enough for you to even create a video on. So what is this TubeBuddy result telling me? It's saying that the keyword is not too competitive, but it has enough search volume to make it worth targeting. Something else to think about is if you live in Atlanta and you're from Columbus, Ohio, and you want to convince people from Columbus, Ohio to invest in Atlanta through you, this is a great way to do it. The title of your YouTube video could be Columbus, Ohio real estate market sucks, invest in Atlanta instead. And then your video, your 8 to 12 minute video, goes through all the steps on how you can do that. Let's take another example. You're buying your first home in Columbus, Ohio. This is an interesting target, right? Maybe you're targeting millennials that have a little money, that are interested in buying the first home, but they have some cash they also want to invest. TJ is the first person that comes up on a YouTube search, the best way to buy a home in Columbus, Ohio, 3 years ago. Right? This video he posted 3 years ago and the thumbnail blows. The second one, buying a house in Columbus, Ohio to retire at 60. 226 views, posted 8 months ago. The thumbnail sucks. The third, stock image, thumbnail sucks. You can't tell me you can't create better thumbnails and content than this? Come on. And looking at the search results, looking at the traffic and what TubeBuddy says about that particular keyword, buy first home, Columbus, Ohio, it's giving you a rating of 98 out of 100, which means there's a little competition, but there's a lot of search volume for that keyword. So guess who's winning the game? You are, because you're paying attention to this freaking video. So how do you win? And I'll pause. I'll stop talking just a second. How do you win? A couple things. Number one, a thumbnail. 2, title. 3, description. 4, tags. That's what you need. You need a good title. I need to be able to see the whites in your eyes. That's a close up. You need to be this close, right? This close in your thumbnail. Number 2, you want a couple of words in your thumbnail. You don't want to be super descriptive on your thumbnail. Number 3, you need an image. That's your thumbnail. Your title should have the actual keyword you're searching, you're optimizing for. So if it's first home buyer in Columbus, Ohio, then it should be top 10 ways to buy your first home in Columbus, Ohio. Here, my keyword was grow your business in 2020. So you add that into your title. Your description needs to be on point. You should absolutely have chapters. Notice the timestamps, maybe halfway down in the description section. You need that in your life. You absolutely need that. Tags are debatable. If you're starting on YouTube for the first time, yeah, use tags. There are a lot of YouTube influencers and creators say that tags don't really work, but whatever. Jury's still out on tags. And then you want to hit the visibility on public and publish it and hit save. That's ultimately what you want to do. The winning strategy here, you want to post one video a week. That video should be anywhere between 8 to 12 minutes long. It needs to be edited properly. I'll show you how to do that if we have some time. But also the reason why I'm kind of going through these slides a little quickly. What really matters though is owning your own audience. What Jason and Ian have brilliantly done is take their podcast and make it available to you. And then what's the call to action? Go check us out on ourwebsite.com. You can use WordPress for this or not. You can have a custom site too. If you are using WordPress and if you're posting blogs regularly, you can take the YouTube videos that you're doing and embed them into your blog. What does that do? Putting your influencer hat on, it makes you the bomb.com, right? Like you are now the person that knows the most in your local area, in your local market. I was doing a Think Realty podcast. I needed to talk about the Northeast. I wanted to talk about trends. I wanted to talk about private lending. I text Jason. Like I can find this text. Let me see. I text Jason and I said, hold on. I said, hey, want to do a podcast today? My 10 a.m. canceled and I immediately thought of you. 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes later, he said, sure, what time? Can you do in 10 minutes? He's like, can we do 30 minutes? I'll be in my car. I'm like, yeah, checking. How about 10:45? That happened. I'm doing that for Jason because he, to me, is the influencer and the go-to guy. That wouldn't have happened if he hadn't built up his brand. Backlinks are important too. We can talk about that as another strategy, but ultimately your focus, ladies and gentlemen, needs to be this. High quality thought leadership content that inspires action on trusted platforms, specifically YouTube. Rule number 4, you want to avoid burnout. You know what? We're not even going to go through these. You'll get the slides. I want to stay on track on YouTube. That's what I got for you. I'm done talking. I'm going to grab some water. Holy cow.
So Abhi, what I think would be super valuable for everybody, and you might already have this. I don't know if you have more slides, if you don't have more slides, but
yeah.
Oh, you don't have more slides. Okay, perfect. We could probably collectively between the three of us kind of do a step-by-step case study and break this down for everybody watching or listening related to, hey, I'm just getting started. I want to start generating seller leads. We can just use YouTube for now, right? YouTube and a web page. And let's just do it and figure out, we'll kind of go through it step by step of what we would each do in order to get the phone ringing, generate seller leads. For an experienced real estate investor, a new real estate investor, it doesn't matter what area you're in. It's the same formula across the board. So what are your thoughts? Should we all do that together?
Yeah, let's do it. This is going to be fun.
All right. So go ahead, Ian.
No, I was just thinking out loud because I'm starting to get a little PTSD because I know Jason all the time would be up my butt. He's like, dude, you got to do videos. You got to do this. And that's honestly how this podcast came about because I was like, you know what, dude, I got to do this because something that we're missing here, and I think you kind of really glanced over really quick, and a point that I want to drive home before we get into this is it's about credibility, right? Like people are going to, and I think we're going to get into this in the case study is you can send out all the marketing you want and people can say yes, yes, yes to your face, but they're going to go home and stalk you. People say they're not Facebook stalkers or social media stalkers. That's what they're doing. They're going to find out your credibility back online. So I'm interested to see where this conversation goes, but I also was getting PTSD because of everything Jason's told me to do after all these years. So
nice.
I love it.
All right, so let's kind of do this collectively together. So like step 1, I suppose, would be let's define your market, right? Where you want to invest in? Is that step 1? Is that safe to say?
Let's do that. So let's pick Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Let's do someplace around here.
Okay, cool.
Just because we have a lot of local followers. So,
cool.
Ian, what do you think? Should we go super generic with Baltimore? Or you want to get more specific? Like
let's get more specific.
Joppa, Maryland. Does that work?
Joppa. How do you spell that?
Joppa. Is that too specific, Jay?
That's fine.
Joppa.
Yeah. Or is it Joppa Town technically?
Well, there's two different places.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's do Arlington, Virginia, because Amon requested that, and he was the first one to request it. So let's do Arlington, Virginia.
Perfect. Sounds great. I'm going to share my screen again so you can actually see what I'm doing. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
All right. You guys using the StreamYard thing, I love it.
Have you used StreamYard before? Have you used it before?
Yeah, I've used it, I think maybe once or twice. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it. All right, cool. So here we are. Hey, look at that. I'm sharing this. Cool. So here's what I'm going to do. All right. I am going to Google Arlington, Virginia. Real estate, Arlington, Virginia. And the target market, Jason, you said one more time is?
Say that again, sorry.
Real
estate seller leads.
Yeah.
Seller leads. Okay, so people that want to sell their home in Arlington, Virginia.
Yep.
Okay, so sell my home, Arlington, Virginia. Let's all out of my behind. The reason that I have Google here as well is because Google will help me come up with keywords and topics to think about. We've got sell a house in Arlington, of an opportunity. All right, you want to find opportunities? Here you go. Let me see if I can increase the size of my screen for you guys. Boom, cool. All right, the ultimate. So I typed in guide to selling your home in Arlington, Virginia. I copied and pasted that from Google. The first video that YouTube says, hey, you should actually check out has been posted 2 years ago by Mike Sherrard. All right, the ultimate step-by-step process of how to list and sell someone's home. It's not even, it's generic. It doesn't even have anything to do with Arlington, Virginia. The next one is, should I sell my house now? How I sold my own house for sale. Note, there's no tail that includes the keyword Arlington, Virginia. I use TubeBuddy a lot, so let's take a look at what it's saying. On the right side of my screen, it says the search volume. Search volume is kind of poor. It's not too competitive, but it has enough search volume to consider this particular keyword worth targeting. But what's interesting is if you're in Arlington, Virginia, what Ian just said, people will look you up. And if you come up as number 1 or 2 on YouTube, just because you use the term, the city, state, Arlington, Virginia, and a long tail selling your home in Arlington, Virginia as a YouTube video title, you'll start winning the game. Granted, it won't appear number 1 on YouTube right away, but you'll have to be a little consistent with it. Give it a couple of months, but the more that you do it, 1 a week, you'll start to win. So let's maybe adjust to sell my home, Arlington, Virginia. Let's just kind of see what pops up here. Nothing really different, right? You have, like, these thumbnails are okay. How to sell a property with a mortgage. Too many words here. I like her facial expression, but that I need to zoom into her face a little more on that thumbnail. The thumbnail right below it, where it says sold, and she's kind of looking up and to the right, and she's wearing like a striped top. Kind of interesting, a little clickbaity. Don't sell your home in 2021. Watch this first. Doesn't really have anything to do with selling my home in Arlington, Virginia. Let's just see what happens if I put in Arlington, Virginia. Real estate market. Okay, top things you must know. Here you go. Top things you must know before moving to Arlington, Virginia. Posted 10 months ago, got 11,000 views. It's kind of interesting, right? Let's just click on these people and see what they're doing. Northern Virginia Living, Victor and Roya. Who are they? Victor and Roya, you're getting free advertising.
Realtors.
Yep, we work with clients, realtors, boom. So view email address. Okay, what's the website? Let's see what the website looks like. Legit, basic IDX website. They're not doing anything crazy. Their website is complete shit, but what they're doing on YouTube is working. They have 553 subscribers. None of this matters. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this real quick. I just want to see the statistics on this video. If you have TubeBuddy, it gives you all the statistics on this video too. So give me 1 second. It's loading that up. Their channel's gotten 47,000 views. They don't have any info cards. They don't have any chapters, meaning the timestamps that we talked about. They don't have that. Their description kind of sucks, but it's working because they used "Are you moving to Arlington, Virginia?" at the top of their description. They followed that with the title, "Moving to Arlington, Virginia." So YouTube is like, yeah, cool. If you're looking at moving to Arlington, Virginia, it's not a bad idea. Their tags. Go ahead.
It's actually an interesting concept, and people, maybe start to think outside the box with this.
Yeah.
Is that, first off, they might not be targeting sellers. They're only targeting buyers. Well, guess what? Well, okay, I'm selling my house. I'm over in Falls Church. I need to sell my house. Okay, great. Boom. There's a link to them. If you're in this space, they might be sending out direct marketing. Hey, you interested in buying a house? They look you up. They go, look at this postcard. We looked at all these tags and we threw people out. When you get that mail, you might get intrigued and say, well, it's not the best card in the world, but you know what? Let me look up these people because they did take the time. Boom, here they are on YouTube, and they're the #1 search, right? They got 523 subscribers. Doesn't seem like a lot to all of us in the world we live in today, but for this super niche market, it's actually pretty good, I would assume, right? Like 11,000 views on that video, I would say, okay, they're legit credible. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would look at if I was trying to vet these people or met them on a first-time sales appointment.
Totally. Something else that I would do is here's a baller move. I would get in touch with them on Instagram. So right here it says, ready to work with us, complete a short questionnaire. Remember in the slides we talked about taking it offline onto your own platform? That's exactly what they're doing here. They're saying, hey, welcome home. This is smart. They're getting you to fill out information if you're interested. And believe you me, if I did this, I would get a phone call within, I'm sure, a few minutes, right? If they're smart, they would do that. This is their LinkedIn profile. They've got a couple posts, whatever. I'm sorry, their Instagram profile. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely reach out to these guys and just see, like, they're active. they're good, they're active, and just like what Ian and Jason are saying, it doesn't matter that this guy has 472 followers. What matters is he's in a niche market, and for every one of these 472 followers, if he's posting on a regular basis, what's happening? He is front of mind. Let's take a look at Realtor Mom. Okay.
And also, I think a thing to mention is when you're doing a lot of these searches, people that had a lot less likes on their videos, or views on their videos, I should say, were still ranking significantly higher than people with a lot more views. So that's always a good way. I think a lot of people get very discouraged because they look at a competitor and they're like, oh, these guys have so many videos. These guys have so many content pieces. I'm starting from scratch. Well, you got to start somewhere. And, our old motto has always been every eyeball counts, right?
Yeah.
It's about quality, not necessarily quantity. The goal eventually is to get as many as possible, but don't let that discourage you. I mean, look at some of these, there's a lot of these that don't have a ton of views, but
they're the right views, right?
They're the right views.
What matters.
Yeah.
And their message matches all the way across. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Real estate on YouTube, real estate on Instagram, real estate on their website. Like all their messages are matching. And you would say, these people are pretty entrenched in real estate.
So get this. This is something interesting. So where I will get YouTube video topic ideas from the comments. Now, this is kind of cool. I was just scrolling down, right? Like, I've never seen these guys before. Okay, look at this. Amazon employee here. Thanks for the informative video. What did I do? I went to Google, typed in Amazon Arlington, Virginia. Sweet, Amazon in Arlington. That pops into a new thing that says Amazon in Arlington. Holy shit. February 2nd, Amazon, da-da-da-da-da. So Amazon has a new headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. If you catered a YouTube video for like Amazon employees moving to Arlington, Virginia, do you know how crazy that would be? Like, you would get calls.
Nope.
Like it's that simple. So let's look at something else. I saw something here. My house is 1,400 square feet. Tax assessment is this. Great place to live if you can afford it. So clearly, Seventh Circle Racing may be interested in selling their home. This is 2 weeks ago. This is 2 weeks ago about who's Seventh Circle Racing. So like, I would get in touch with these people somehow. I would find out who they are and send them a message. Or like, that's what I would do.
Yeah, and the best thing that you can do these days that you could not do back in the day, right? Back in the day, you'd have to do snail mail, you'd have to do phone calls. Now it makes it very, very easy because they might not be the most motivated person. We're in a real estate market right now that, everyone's trying to push the limits, but that's okay.
Sure.
You can do do a DM. It takes 10 seconds to do something
Absolutely.
like that. Be like, and you have your little Google Doc with all your templated emails and text messages and DMs. That's what we all do, right? That work and scale. And you say, and you cut it, you paste it into a DM and say, hey, I'm Jason from so-and-so. I'm a private real estate investor. If you're looking to sell quickly, let me know, blah, blah, blah. So people, too many people don't want to do the hard work and the heavy lifting. I don't think this is hard work. You guys don't think this is hard work or heavy lifting. It takes time, a little bit of time. But you already said what hard work was. The first sentence that came out of your mouth. Hard work is taking a sledgehammer and busting up rock. Hard work is not copying and pasting text and texting somebody or DMing somebody, and you do it and this is a different topic, but you can automate this stuff in order to get virtual assistants to do all this crap for you anyways as you grow. But the point is there's endless ways to do this. This is one strategy that's actually multiple strategies through YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to kind of circle back, but this isn't get rich quick overnight.
No.
Could you get lucky and potentially find a distressed seller right now that's ready to go? Maybe, but the game plan, it's a long play. What are you going to do if if you don't have the fundamentals or the foundation of building a business and you stumble across one deal and you make some money on it? Great.
Yeah.
Well, you're out of business after that.
Totally.
You want it to come from your business foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the real estate investor guy here, I'll put on my real estate investor hat. One, don't get discouraged. This is actually maybe step 2, right? You should always take action. And if you're comfortable doing this medium, then by all means do this medium. You guys would be surprised, as outspoken as I am, getting on camera is a nightmare to me because I start overthinking.
It is.
I should have been there when I did my first video. It was terrible. I've gotten a lot more comfortable over time. And number 2, before we roll out, I think what would help is if we bring this thing full circle from someone doing a direct mail piece all the way to the end of kind of how you go offline, online, and bring that full circle for somebody, because we're getting really deep into some high level topics here.
Yeah, we are. And while you guys were talking, I was a little distracted. I was watching. I was trying to find this Michael Penix guy because look at this. He says, "Great video," and this is in the comments of this video that we've been dissecting here. I'm looking to move in 2022. I work in the insurance industry and love the walkability and public transportation there, plus the diversity. I wanted to find this guy because he could be a strategic relationship for somebody like me that is interested in finding potential sellers, right? Sellers are always interested in insurance, and maybe there's a seller that could be a little distressed that these insurance providers, these insurance agents could also know, and they'll get a referral out of it. So again, just all of these different unique kind of twists using YouTube will dramatically help your business. So, to your question, direct mail. So you get a list. If you go to listsource.com, or if you're using YouTube and you end up getting information, you mail a seller direct mail, whether it's a postcard, letter, handwritten, lumpy mail package, right? There's a little lumpy mail package. And you say, hey, I want to buy your home. They get in touch with you. And during that transaction, during that experience, remember the number one thing that you want to pay attention to is customer experience. What's ultimately going to happen? They will get your information. They will look you up on YouTube. They will look you up on LinkedIn. They will look you up on these social media platforms because that's where they go to seek public approval of who you are. So if your Twitter looks like crap and they're on Twitter, then you know what? You just maybe lost some business. If your LinkedIn isn't as stout as it needs to be, isn't as fortified as it needs to be, then you're losing business. But if your person which is whom you've targeted in Arlington, Virginia, sees a YouTube video and you talking about the pros and cons of the market in Arlington, Virginia, and this one neighborhood that you're focusing on has so much opportunity for maybe a higher sale price or whatever it is that you're pitching, that's what's going to get them to click buy for you, like from you. They will say, yes, I want you. I want Jason. I want Ian as my rep, as the person I'm going to sell my property to. That's how you win the game. The way in which you create the video should have a short little intro. It'll have a good substantial meat. If you don't know what to talk about, rip off the other YouTube videos. Everybody does it. It's all, it's all part of the game. Believe me, Grant Cardone didn't come up with 10X himself. There were so many other people using 10X before Grant Cardone. He just had the marketing dollars behind it. So education is just repackaged content. So repackage others' content. Create a nice little intro. No more than 5-10 seconds. Remember, don't talk about yourself a whole lot. Hey guys, today we're talking about Arlington, Virginia, and the 2 things you need to know before we move here. Boom. And then go right into the meat of your content and end with a little closing. If you want to create influence and if you want to move people to work with you, that's the way you do it. Ian, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think it helps a lot of our audience to bring this thing full circle, because it can get really confusing really quick. You threw our guest off, Jason? I mean, what are you doing here?
He clicked himself off.
I guess he clicked himself off. So if he comes back, we'll get him back in. But it brings it full circle, right? Like, you're going from an offline marketing piece. They're coming online to find you and socially verify you. Then they're either going to contact you back offline, or they're going to go find you online and join your mailing list or whatever. And you're going to continue to cultivate and water the seeds, and eventually something's going to happen with that person. I mean, just from writing a book, that we sold offline, that was an offline product, allowed us to buy an owner financed apartment building. Coaching some of our students became investors for us. They found us online, they came offline, they came back online, and now they're one of our investors, right? So these things all work together as one. It's not done overnight. I sound like Jason now, so you're finally wearing off on me. But these things do work, and they take time, and it's frustrating because, unlike the rest of the world, it's not instant gratification. It is a very, very long game, but it's worth the investment. I get into cycles where I like doing it, and then it gets stressful. I think Abhi made a really good point of once a week. Just concentrate on once a week video. You can come up with content for once a week. Follow your favorite influencer. Follow the same content they're doing for the first few weeks, and you'll start getting people to ask questions. I mean, just from this show alone, me and Jason already have new topics for weeks to come to find other guests to say, man, we had this great point inside this podcast. Let's go do another podcast on this one. Let's find another expert to come in and talk about it.
And also the best part about doing that one video per week, right? If it's just one video, that's fine. You do it per week. Well, guess what? Now you have content for not just YouTube, for all your social platforms. When you email out your database once a week, I believe you should be emailing more than that, but let's say once a week minimum, you have a topic and content for that. If you want to, be, an influencer and spread your content out on BiggerPockets or wherever you want to do it. There's plenty of ways, and that's just one content piece. And here's the thing that people don't fully understand, and this isn't obviously a plug to our first book we wrote years ago, The Whiteboard, but one of the main chapters was called the online offline blend. Like, that was one of the main chapters, online offline blend, because real estate is an offline business model, but it's operated online. Everything's done online, and even though it's an offline kind of a setup. And if you think that distressed sellers, buyers, private lenders don't operate digitally and online, you're kidding yourself, because they absolutely are. They all have iPhones. They're all savvy. They're all looking it up. And you know what? You're missing out if you don't have a social platform, a built-out social platform on every platform along with a website. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it has to be built up. Especially this isn't necessarily geared towards raising capital, but like, especially if you're raising capital, you're never going to go raise capital from anybody if you don't have a website, if you don't have a bio, if you don't have some sort of credibility platform. It could be something simple. It could be a 3-page website or a 1-page website, which is your information and a little bit about you and some past deals and things like that. But think about it. If you're selling your property to somebody and they don't have a website or they don't show testimonials from people you've bought or sold from, past deals, I know for a fact that on our Hard Money website, on our Hard Money Bankers website, the number one page besides obviously our homepage is recently funded deals. And I've been pushing myself to try to build that out more and more and more and more and more, because I know that the majority of people land on that page or go to that page. That's what they want to see. Hey, they want to see, hey, other real estate investors flipping houses, recently funded deals, things like that. Like, that's what people want in that space. So with sellers, it's testimonials, right? Like, think about when you watch if you're local to our area, an Express Home Buyer commercial or Market Pro commercial. Guess what's on that commercial? It's not, hey, how good are we? It's, here's a testimonial of a like-kind person, right? It's a testimonial from an inherited property. It's a testimonial from a distressed property that needs construction. It's a testimonial from whatever, right? There's endless ones. That's what gets into people's minds and their hearts. And we can go on and on. There's so many
and that's so right. I mean, and if you wanted to take it a step further too, I mean, those recently funded deals that you guys have, you can even do an on-site. Like, how crazy would it be? You got 2 chairs on site, 1 camera, 2 microphones, costs you legitimately nothing. And you can use a phone, right? Like, just use a freaking phone, put it on a tripod, get 2 chairs, and get a boom mic, connect that up right to your video recording tool, camera tool, and your phone, and talk about that recently funded deal case study. If you don't want to share the seller's, the investor's name, you don't have to do that. But you could also do the same thing with sellers. You could do the same thing with buyers. You could do the same thing with investors. Like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Investor, listen, I just gave you like 9.25 on this deal, and we paid you back in 10 months. So your annualized was a lot more, 11.25, 12. Tell me what you thought. And that then becomes YouTube content you can keep pushing out there as education for other potential passive investors, as education for other sellers, as education for other investors to work with you. Because as a private lender, you need investors, you need deal flow, you need sellers, and you need that environment. You need the what's the word that I'm looking for? It's not the experience; it's the environment of information, I suppose. And that's the one way to do it too.
Yep. 100%. Man, I thought this was awesome. I mean, I learned a lot just sitting here and really extracting information from what we already knew. And it was a great, not only refresher, but like great new points. And, this market's always changing. Abhi, what's the best way people can find you online? Where can people get sucked into your phone and follow you around on the internet?
Yeah, the internet of all things, right? Guys, I mean, I'm a huge player on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Check me out on LinkedIn, Abhi Golhar. You can find me on Instagram as well. I have not posted on Instagram in a while. I'm going all in on YouTube and LinkedIn. I have one LinkedIn exclusive article that talks about how you can grow your business that comes out every Thursday or Friday. So follow me on LinkedIn at Abhi Golhar. You can follow my blog, abhigolhar.com, YouTube. Just anywhere. Just go. You'll find me.
Just type in Abhi Golhar on Google Images. I mean, the image I posted of you earlier today, you might actually have the same shirt on.
Probably.
But I typed in. I mean, Ian and I wear this. I mean, I wear Hard Money Bankers gear every day. I mean, it's not the same shirt. It's just, I have 10 of the same ones in multiple different colors.
Hey, speak for yourself. This hair product has been my hair since last week, and I haven't showered in 3 weeks. So there you go. It's great.
Regardless, you'll find Abhi wherever you look. Abhi, certainly appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Provided a lot of value. I know everyone's gonna love it. If you want to watch this replay, we're live on everywhere: YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, between my accounts and Ian's accounts, and some groups as well. So just go back to where you're listening or watching this right now, and you'll be able to check it out. And it'll also, it'll be on Audible very soon too. Appreciate it, man.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve Podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm